Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Great to be with you. Happy Lawn Maintenance Tuesday. Kind of serves in a weird way as a semi-loosey-goosey edition of the show, but we will be on Friday. We are off tomorrow and, of course, Thanksgiving. Get an hour of JCS right now, 2 hours of Seminole headlines to follow, all kinds of great content for you here as we get geared up for a little respite for the holiday and then a turn right around and get locked back in and focused on Florida State, Florida. The Noles win last night. Get to it momentarily. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. It's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. You miss anything? Hey, don't worry about it. Settle in. All 3 hours get posted every day upon the conclusion of the show, both to iTunes and our own Audio Vault. You can find it on the app as well. It's the WTSM app. It's free. I get questions all the time about whether or not they can find the show streaming or on iTunes. But listen, the app has it as well, and it's free. No reason for you not to have the WTSM app. Also, JCS at 97.ESPNradio.com, the email address. And if you want to watch us on YouTube, by all means. Somebody inquired about it yesterday, said they're going to start watching on YouTube. All right. ESPN Tallahassee. You can Periscope as well at 979 ESPN Radio on Twitter. That's how you can do all of those things. A lot of things to get to in a short period of time. The basketball team continues to cruise, and there's just so much to like about that team. I think that every time I watch them, I see something else that I think is going to serve them well moving forward. But, you know, number one, Tom, on this list, and there's no need to really break down the Canisius game. I thought that Florida State's size was obviously a huge advantage here, and they also were more skilled. But I would just tell you, unselfish comes to mind every time I watch them. And I think that's the thing that, from a distance, when I've watched teams or programs that succeeded beyond perhaps their individual talent, it's always been about two things: experience, and Florida State's got a lot of it. Right? They've been in big games. They've had a lot of guys that have been in big games and big moments and shared that experience together of coming through in intense situations. This team, more than any I can remember, has all of that and then some. With the last year's run and the amount of games that they played in that were pressure-packed even in the regular season a year ago in an effort to fight to get to the tournament. Of course, the previous season, they made the tournament as well. Plenty of guys on this team that were on that team. So they have that. And then an unselfishness that obviously allows for guys to remove ego and understand it's about the greater good. That there will be a night where perhaps your best option is a player that most normally or ordinarily isn't a go-to guy. The matchup just serves its purpose that particular night. There are other times where one of the stars, if you will, has to be a star and take over the game. So there might be a night where Trent Forrest has to kind of be that guy, right? But by and large, I think that the unselfish nature of a Terrence Mann, who's been here forever and does so many things so well, it's on display last night early. MJ Walker scores the first 8 points of the game. Basically takes 2 more shots the rest of the game. This you're seeing now every time we watch Florida State basketball. They do something that reminds you that they got a lot of guys that can hurt you, a lot of experience, a lot of length, and they're all bought in.
Yeah, and they all commit to playing in the half court on defense, too. The intensity was there throughout, no matter who the five were. I thought, just in terms of the rotations, I'm glad we got 10 guys to play, 13 minutes or more. So 10 different players played 13 or more minutes. And then Wyatt Wilkes comes in for 5 minutes.
Well, and
at the end of the
Raekwon
game
played
too.
12, so you still
right.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, sorry, 12 or more minutes. Excuse me. There's Raekwon in the middle of the box score. They looked a little clunky on offense because I'm sure they're not used to playing in these, quintets that are out there.
Yeah.
Just a whole bunch of different mixtures, but it was fun to see different players individually and what they can do. Devin Vassell was the one who jumped off the page to me. But on defense, no matter who the five were, they were committed.
Yeah.
I get that, Canisius shoots 42% for the game, but the commitment, the intensity, on the ball, rotations, all that kind of stuff, they were there last night. They were committed to play the game, and that's a good sign, too, as you're heading into a very busy week ahead.
Well, and Devin Vassell, by the way, was a kid that scored before he got here. He was a scorer, and you see that in him. He's got scoring ability. He's going to score at this level right now.
Well, he's got I don't want to say it's the same level as Rodas because I think it's a little bit different. But he can create space for himself around the rim.
Yeah.
The game seems to move slowly for him around the rim, which I like. I think you're right. It's going to translate to ACC play if he has to come off the bench.
He can score.
Somebody's in foul trouble and he comes on the floor. I don't know about the rest of it. I know defensively he made some big plays, but what I just jumped off the page to me a few times last night was, 24. He looks comfortable out there. I get it's Canisius, but sometimes you can see things that translate for more than the opponent that's in front of you. On the other side of it, for example, David Nichols, I think the speed of the game and playing with us, I think he still has a little bit of a ways to go.
Yeah. Still got some things to figure out. So the Noles win and win easily, and we'll get a chance to talk more about them as we move forward. They're playing a bunch of games in a short amount of time. Before I get to Florida State, Florida football, last night is a little bit about what's wrong with the NFL. Today's a day in which they celebrate a 54-51 game that features a ton of skill. There's no question, a ton of talent. And that's inarguable between Jared Goff and Patrick Mahomes and Kareem Hunt and Todd Gurley, and the list goes on, Brandon Cooks and Tyreek Hill and Kelsey. And we're going on for days. These are Pro Bowl-level players. These are elite players. These are guys that are going to put up points. And they would probably put up points in any era. But what you have now are offensive-minded coaches with two offensively talented teams and rules put in place that do not allow defenses to get stops. And I have been warning about this for a long time. You can overdo it. You can legislate the game in such a way that I can't defend you, especially if you've got skill, and especially if you're forward-thinking and understand how to utilize that skill. You couple that with the rules, I can't defend you. There were moments in the first three scores of this games for both teams where the opposing defense made a play that would have gotten them 3rd and long or 3rd and off the field that were not allowed to stand because a routine tackle was called roughing or targeting and they allowed for drives to continue, unnecessary roughness. We got to stop, man. This can't happen because 54-51 is not good for you. It's not. It's arena football. Today, a lot of people love it, and they'll talk about how exciting the game was. No doubt. I'm not arguing the game wasn't exciting, and I'm not even arguing that there wasn't elite skill on display. Of course there was. We know that. But defenses are in a place now where they're not allowed to play the game that would limit some of these possessions. The calls go so in favor of the offensive player every time. I can't touch you down the field. I can't hit you in the middle of the field, even if the ball is, within range. I can't do it. It's going to be called unnecessary. If I hit you anywhere outside a very limited area on the quarterback, I don't get to make that play anymore. We got to stop. We got to stop because I think it devalues some of the significance and the skill of those players that I'm talking about.
I agree with you. I prefer 24-17 football. If all things being equal, let's say it's a well-played 38-35, a well-played 17-10. I like somewhere in the middle where offense has a chance to shine and overcome, and defense has a chance to go make a play. I don't think we're stopping anytime soon, though. I think this is good. This is going to be good for ratings, and so they're going to continue to follow down this path. There will be a fatigue factor, but for a league that has been starved for variety in offense, good quarterback play.
They've got it.
The rules are creating good quarterback play beyond the elite players.
Right, that's
which
what
is,
I mean.
think, where they want to go.
Yeah.
There's going to be a pushback at some point, but I think we're going to see a little bit more of this type. A lot of defensive scores last night, too, to rack up those extra points.
I understand the extra points. Sure, yeah. You had the fumbles and all that.
I think you're going to see more of this as closer to the norm than, 13-7 because it's Ryan Fitzpatrick on a bad day versus a McCown brother or something.
Yeah, and I don't need 13-7, and I don't need defensive football to rule the day to where 13-10 wins you the game. What I want is if I play real good defense, I can stop real good offense. And I want, if I play real good offense, to be able to exploit average to poor defense. I want to be able to play a game that ends 31-24 and has a little bit of everything, not over 1,000 yards of offense. You skew the numbers. You're right. You get players that, now listen, these are good football players, and I want to be careful to make mention of the fact that, look, I understand that Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelsey and Brandon Cooks and Todd Gurley and Kareem Hunt and Patrick Mahomes and they're all really good players.
Poor Todd Gurley fantasy owners last night. Everybody got theirs except Todd.
I had him. Well, and this is the complaint about what the Rams do, by the way, is that they occasionally lose track of the fact that they have the best running back in football. 12 carries?
Yeah.
12 carries.
Yeah, you shorten the game there, especially you're up a couple of scores.
In the second half, they're up 2 scores.
Right.
They're going to win the game.
Yep.
Give the ball to your running back.
Yeah.
McVay's done an incredible job, but he forgets about Todd. I know this because I have Gurley. He'll forget about him on a regular, and there's no reason for that.
Yeah, when they get the second defensive score.
Yeah.
In that moment, it's in your building, too, so you can ice that game away, shorten it up a little bit. It's not like you're not going to come away with at least 3 points on a possession. You could try that for one possession and see if you can get 6-7 minutes out of it. Yeah. I agree with you. But overall, I think this is a boon for the league last night. I fully understand, and I kind of stand with you. I just don't think they're going to be anything but more apt to try to get more of these type of results for a little while.
Well, that's a shame because I do think that you affect, as I bring up on a regular basis, the integrity of the game. I think, and again, you devalue the skill set of a Patrick Mahomes or a Jared Goff when they're both throwing for nearly 500 yards. What are we doing, man?
These are all-time good offenses, though, that I think would operate in any era. That they're really at the height of their powers. Everybody's healthy, all that kind of stuff.
Which is why you can't give them extra possessions and prolonged possessions when a defense gets a stop.
Oh, man, now listen, my number one complaint about the NFL is you got 3 types of ways that you can interfere with a receiver. Illegal contact, holding, and pass interference, which is crazy.
Well, let me add to that, Tom, because you're right. Here's the deal. One of the number one plays utilized now by offensive play callers and quarterbacks, especially ones that know how to do it.
Rub routes.
Yes, all the rub routes. And then in addition, the number one play you can make if you have single coverage is to purposely underthrow a wide receiver. Mm-hmm. Well, we're done here.
Right.
Because it's a spot foul, which is, what are we doing? A 48-yard penalty. Get the hell out of here with that nonsense.
Yeah, that's really annoying, the intentional underthrows. Like, the back shoulder is an art form, but at the same time, you shouldn't be rewarded. Like what's the guy supposed to do? Teleport to the other side of the receiver?
You can't do it. It's nuts.
This ain't Star Trek, dude.
If your quarterback drastically underthrows a pass. Now, yes, I got to give you a right to get back to it. So if it's egregious, I understand. I can't just grab you. But if you just suddenly put on the brakes and we're running side by side and we contact and I don't reach out to hold, we got to let that go, man.
Yeah, are we supposed to
make a better pass?
Are we supposed to be running parallel until, we decide what the quarterback's going to throw the ball like?
Yeah, and quarterbacks have gotten good enough and play callers have understood this enough and receivers have understood this enough that now you can make that happen intentionally.
Yeah.
You can just say, hey, I'm going to run, as fast as I can, as far as I can, underthrow me.
Yeah.
I mean, that literally happens. You see it happen. And that's an automatic call.
Yeah.
And now it's too penal. 50-yard penalty, 60-yard penalty. What are we doing?
Well, and this is what it feels like to be a defender, or if it's your team that's on defense. You can't do that.
Right.
And then it's like the next play, you do something different. You can't do that.
And you
too
can't
low,
hit,
too high.
Can't hit anybody.
Outside of 5 yards, even though he's outside the pocket, we're still going to call it illegal contact. I mean, whatever it is, or we're going to call a hold.
All the time. The first points for the Rams, the first 2 drives were given to them by penalty calls.
Yeah.
I mean, just absurd penalty calls. There's a tackle in the middle of the field that's going to hold them to a field goal. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't know. By what definition is that a penalty? How is that unnecessary? I don't know what they're calling.
Hey, man, they called a trip on Alex Killorn last night when he didn't trip a guy and he scored a goal, and they said penalty, no goal. So I don't know. I'm just confused at all turns last night. I don't know what the hell I'm watching.
Well, it's just it's tough, too, because it's a carryover from Saturday where they're picking up holding calls. And I'm going, I've never seen that.
That freaking guy.
A lot of things, man.
There's no holding on the play.
A lot
of
things.
Good.
That was not bad. You actually kind of nailed that. All right, Jeff Cameron Show continues in a moment. We'll talk some Florida State, Florida, as there's a lot on the line. There's an awful lot on the line.
Yeah, how you feeling?
Oh, I'll talk about it in a moment. Jeff Cameron Show. And to think you got to wait all the way to Saturday. And it's Tuesday. But I'm ready. Cricket.
And how you play it, all about control. If you can take it, all about your debt. If you can pay it, it's all about pay. Who's gonna make it?
So Florida comes in 8-3, noon kickoff. You guys know the deal. Here is the deal. I said it last week. I'll say it again here, and in a moment I'll reveal just what level of game this is. But Perine and Scarlett, this is the game. Both over 600 yards rushing on the season, both north of 5.0 yards per carry. Perine's the bigger of the two backs, 228 pounds of get you some. So once again, I got to ask you to strap it up. Last week, that was the mandate. Your manhood was challenged. You did not want to be emasculated, and you came out swinging. You held a much bigger back to a very inefficient afternoon on the ground. 37 carries, 117 yards. Ain't getting it. If you do something similar, combination-wise, with these two young men, you have a chance to win the football game just like you had a chance to win the football game on Saturday. You made the most of that opportunity. We'll see if you can do it again. Florida's an efficient team. They're not an explosive team. They drive the football. They don't want Felipe Franks to throw picks. A lot of underneath 7-yard passes type things. They're not going to let him throw interceptions.
And what they love to do on third down is try and create a one-on-one underneath. But you got to make a tackle in that.
Got to make a tackle in space.
Yep, exactly right.
Got to make a tackle in space. They're going to challenge this team to do that. I don't know if they were equipped to do that, but
think about the Vandy game. Well, I watched it.
I did too.
Most people probably didn't, but here's what happened.
I watched it. I was in Orlando.
A ton of third down opportunities. It was the hurricane weekend. Ton of third down opportunities. In the beginning of the game, Vandy won some of those situations, but towards halftime and then in the second half, Florida made play after play on third downs.
We had the late play at the end of the half.
But these are innocent enough plays off the hand of Felipe Franks.
And then they just run for days.
The next thing you know, it's 20 or 30 yards because you miss a play, one guy miss it. And it's not like they have dynamic athletes, but they have sound athletes. And that's the question here is in space, can you make a tackle?
To your point, he's averaging, in terms of yards per attempt, under 7. I mean, they're not throwing the ball down the field.
They know what he is.
Yeah,
that's the thing about Mullen.
Good coach. 20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, good coach. McElwain's out here letting him swinging it around 40 times against us a year ago. That's a recipe to lose. What you do here is you throw it underneath, you let guys make some plays, you try to sustain drives, and you do not showcase Felipe Franks. And he won't. Dan Mullen's a better coach. He's smart that way.
But here's the tough thing, the chess game, right? So if you're trying to trail somebody in man, that's tough because they'll create what we're just talking about. Well, but that's the problem.
Well, but we're not good in zone, but it beats the hell out of one-on-one coverage and the big play that we give up every time we're in man because we can't cover. Yeah. And also, Tom, the penalties. We commit 1 million pass interference penalties in man coverage. Yeah. I'll live with zone.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
No.
I'll live with zone even though I know that 3rd and 18 is convertible.
This is what Willie said on Saturday. That's why I was laughing. He said, or was it, it was yesterday in his press conference. I think it was the last question. And they, about zone. He said, well, the thing is, we had a lot of penalties. And so, I just was trying to avoid the pass interference. And it's almost like he was seething a little bit.
Yes.
I think there's a philosophical debate going on behind the scenes there a little bit.
Well, listen, Harlan, I agree with you. Long term, you want a defense that can do the things you want to do, but this isn't that one. So until that happens, you got to play zone. And here's the problem. That means 3rd and 13 occasionally when the kid makes the throw is going to get converted.
Well, it means the middle of the field is going to be open for business for Florida.
But I'm all right with that because, again, it was open for business for Boston College, and for 3 quarters, the kid didn't hit the throws. And then he finally did in the second half for 2.5 quarters. He started to hit the throws, including a frustrating 3rd and 18 conversion. I got you. But it beats the hell of that man coverage with somebody streaking 70 yards on you, which was happening a lot in the weeks prior.
Yes.
And it beats the hell out of the interference call that you're always seemingly going to get.
Well, and it puts the onus on your favorite player, number 99. You got to get home. You got to get home in this game with the front 4.
Well, yeah, he does. He got to get home. So
he played well this past weekend.
He did play well this past weekend. First time in about 4 weeks, and I'm glad it happened. And you know what? Needed to happen again here. Now, my problem is you're going against 2 sizable running backs. If I'm Florida, I do what everybody should do, which is run right at him.
We handled that well this week, though.
We gave him help, and that was smart. And that's you got to pursue the football,
Well,
baby.
and that's where Leonard Warner, again, being on the field versus 28. And you notice, man, that was another frustrating thing is we had that baby bottled up. What play was that? Was it 3rd and something? And,
And then
it's near the sideline.
That's a lucky play.
Yes, but 28 overruns that. And
Yes,
I'm
he
like,
does.
God bless.
We
You're
have
not
it.
on the field that much. And when you are, you can make a play. It's along the sideline. It's
not
another
illegal.
defender.
It's not illegal.
Why are you running to the chalk? Run to the man.
No, I know. It's tough. Well, here you go. I don't know the level of intensity at this football game because of the holiday and because of the season, but I like to believe that there has been an uptick and upswing in emotion. And normally I won't do this for a noon game, but it's a rivalry game and the right to keep a streak alive, a streak that does matter to us, and it's the longest in the country, a bowl streak of 36, a 5-year run against the University of Florida right now that can become 6. So this is absolutely a Category 5 maintain. We're Cat 5 in this bitch. Cat 5 Saturday, everybody.
Struggling.
The good news for you with the issuing of a Cat 5 is that it's noon, not 7 p.m., and all that struggling that can be done will be offset by the early nature of the game. So you'll be in that right place, that balance between feeling it, ready to go, but also locked in mentally. That's what you're going to be on Saturday, everybody.
So you revealed the Cat 5 to me just before this segment started.
I did.
I said that I'll be in the Memorial Club this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, this is Florida. You need all your faculties. I will be in no danger of any problems on Saturday morning. But Friday night, don't live the game too early. This is Willie's challenge
That's
too
right,
this week.
That's right. You
It's
can
an-
have a good time.
Right.
You got to have a good time.
Yes.
Let it balance you out a little bit.
Well, we're going to watch Oklahoma, West Virginia, the Apple
Good
Cup on
game
Friday
right
night.
there,
Those
yes.
games will be at the CP.
Yes,
Fantastic.
they will. I'm excited about it.
And Florida State basketball, I don't know what time we play on Friday. We don't right now because we need to win or lose against
Right,
UAB.
right.
But yes, man, you want to have memories of the rivalry game.
Of the win.
And Willie here, too. Emotional victory this past weekend. You got to make sure we don't play this puppy on Thursday. Keep it contained.
Yeah, it's tough too. It's a weird week every week. Every year we play this game with the holiday and everything interspersed. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Jeff Cameron Show 97.9 ESPN Radio. That's a Cat 5, my friends. Reminder that as we go out of town, if you're in town for Thanksgiving, and you might very well be, need to escape the house after a long afternoon with the family, it can happen. Depends on how you feel about those relatives, right? Well, on Thursday, Madison Social is going to be open. 8 o'clock, you can roll on over there. Good times. Madison Social offering the social agreement as always. You and a buddy can split one order of wings, 2 Madso burgers, 2 bourbons, 2 ales, all for just $40. Parking's free. No hassle. Great food, great service. Township will have their Taco Thursday specials going, $2 tacos. You want a little follow-up meal, you got it. Visit ThursdaysInCollegetown.com for more details. But that's a reminder. This Thursday, they're open. Good to go there.
Knowles UAB at 9:30 p.m.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's 9:30.
Well, something to it, right?
So I feel like I'm lucky. I have to be a little bit more proper for Thanksgiving, but I don't dread hanging out with my relatives. It's a very nice experience to sit at my Thanksgiving table, but that's not the case for everybody. So I guess I got to count my blessings and be thankful for that.
Well, and, listen, we live in a little bit more polarized society than we've had in a number of years. At varying decades, that's been the case. Certainly, I imagine going to Thanksgiving dinner in 1968 was interesting. But we're kind of at that place right now politically in this country. And so if you get that uncle who rolls in and has a couple of drinks and wants to bring up politics at the table, that can be a toughie. We're not doing that. We're not doing that here.
Our table discussion is so watered down and innocent that we wouldn't run into that. But, I mean, I think the cocktail hour before we start our Thanksgiving dinner, there's absolutely people from both sides of the fence at my Thanksgiving. But thankfully, we don't get into knockdown dragouts in the house. So I'm sure that's going to happen in some places around this fine country.
I think it probably will.
And this state specifically, but yeah.
No, listen, I'm there to play with the kids and my brother's kids and their kids and all that. I mean, this is about the kids.
We're going to throw the football around?
Going to throw the football around
throw some
for
bags,
sure.
Got some cornhole.
We got it all going on here. Some beverages, man, with a little pickup football game in the street. Let's go.
And we have an NFL triple header right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. So
forget about it.
If you're driving to a place that you don't want to go to or you do want to go to for Thanksgiving dinner.
Well, that's also the stress, Tom. Just the stress of driving. Like, I'm going to Atlanta. Yeah. That's never a fun drive.
Right.
I don't like that drive. I'm going to do that drive, but I don't love that drive.
Or if you got to go to Monticello, right, and you're out by Southwood, well, just flip it over to 97.9, and we got a triple header, man. All the NFL Thanksgiving games right here.
Can I listen to those games on the app? No, can't do that.
No. That's a big no. No, Roger Goodell would fly down here, and God knows what.
Well, I want the secret passageway. You're going to have to give that to me during the break. I want the secret passageway.
Yeah, I know, because Sirius drops down with the extra charges for that stuff, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy, yeah. All right. What I'm excited about is that I think, like, this Saturday's game is going to be a 4-quarter game. And that's all you can ask for. You had the stretch of 3 weeks where that simply wasn't the case. And you got to give yourself a chance. We said it last week, and they gave themselves a chance. And they did it by selling out to stop the run. They did it because they were passionate. They did it because they cared about what was at stake. And I think Saturday, rivalry game, easy to suggest they'll care about what's at stake. But can they physically get back to where they were? It's a tough ask.
Well, especially with another week of practice in between where they're going to be physical there because they're trying to – this is the strings you pull as a coach while you're paid the millions of dollars, right, is obviously you want to have another week in practice to reinstill whatever it is you got them up to – how you got them up for Boston College. But would you be spending too much energy in doing that? It's just interesting questions for Willie. It's a unique situation. If we were, let's say where Florida is in terms of record – played a bunch of physical games, won our fair share, I think you're okay here and you probably have the formula. But you found a formula just now, and you need to duplicate it without spending too much energy.
They sold out in their commitment against the run. It left them vulnerable in the passing game. I'd rather be vulnerable against an average quarterback than to give up what I know is a certainty in that the running game at BC and the running game at Florida is something that they rely heavily on, and they do well. So I'm going to take away what you want to do. It's an old Bill Belichick staple. Every great coaching staff does this. What do you want to do? I got to take that away. You might beat me, but you're going to beat me doing something you're not comfortable doing. It happens, and that's why balance is key for every offense, because a lot of times opposing defensive coordinators take away what you want to do. They don't want you to. They're not going to let you play to your strength. But you just tip the cap when that happens. I'm not going to let you play to your strength. Your strength is not Felipe Franks. Felipe Franks going to have to beat me, and maybe he does. I doubt it, but maybe he does. But that's what I'm going to do.
Given our coverage weakness, it could happen.
It could happen.
Yeah.
It could happen. And he could have a good day. Look, man, he's completing 58% of his passes, not a ton of yards, 20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. They don't put him in harm's way. They've been limited at times by his play. But more often than not, Dan Mullen has figured out, all right, listen, we've got a weakness there. Until I can scheme around it, until I can get a kid in here that can really run what I want to run, that guy ain't going to beat me. He's going to be serviceable, and I'm going to give myself a chance to win the football game. Well, that's what you got to do if you're Florida State. Look, sell out against the run, get this thing into the second half. You're at home. It'll be emotional. Get game pressure on somebody.
Fully understanding this is a 5-6 football team looking to go 6-6. Okay, said that. Now let's go here. This feels like a full circle moment this weekend because we had a great atmosphere for Virginia
awesome.
Tech.
Yeah.
Remember that Monday night? I mean, that place was ready to explode.
Got quiet real quick.
And stayed quiet until Cam Akers almost scored a touchdown, didn't, and then we lose the game from there in a most spectacular way. We didn't score a touchdown. We did with the Noonie, but whatever.
Yeah.
You come back here, that atmosphere is going to be quite similar. There'll be more Gator fans in the stands than Virginia Tech fans, of course, but that place is going to be charged. It's going to be electric. It's for the right to go to a bowl. I understand. But I feel like we're coming full circle to a place where maybe we'll have earned that atmosphere and maybe we get the just reward. We hadn't earned it yet. We were not a good football team at that point. Hindsight always is 20/20. But that's how it felt the day after. You're like, man, we were running around. Everybody was celebrating on the sidelines. It felt like a coronation.
Yeah.
We hadn't earned the right to do that yet. Maybe we can on Saturday.
Tell you what, I don't know. I haven't covered Florida this year. I know a year before, they were mentally weak. And when things went south for them in the game against Florida State, anyhow, it quickly snowballed and they didn't look like a team that could compete. I have a feeling they think they're going to win this game. You got to beat that out of them. You got to beat that belief out of them. And the only way you do that is to do a lot of what you did early on against BC. You swarm to the football. You show you're going to be there all day. Better pack your lunch. We're going to be here all day tackling. We care to make stops. Keep it close going into the second half. Don't let them have that momentum. Suck the stadium dry. You got to be there. That energy was something else.
Yes, for me, and I'm sure Corey brought this up today in headlines, which is coming up at the top of the hour, because he was remarking on it on Twitter that day. We were out at Notre Dame game day excursions, enjoying the campus. Florida, South Carolina. I do want to take a look at the nature of that collapse for South Carolina and how charged Florida looked. Of course, they're going to take care of Idaho last week. They've reclassified. They're terrible. But I think in terms of speaking to where Florida's mindset is, I do want to go back and take a look at that second half, specifically the fourth quarter against South Carolina, and see how much of it was Florida taking it after the door was left open or how much of it was South Carolina being just that god-awful. Because that's going to speak a lot to how Florida is healthy in terms of whether or not they're confident, overconfident, whether they're vulnerable, fragile, those types of things. But I think that game might be able to speak to exactly where their heads are at for this one.
Well, they got beat up in the run game against Kentucky. They got beat up in the run game against Missouri. They've been beat up before. If you can prove that you can take it to them, they'll acquiesce. But you got to prove that.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Are we equipped to do that?
South Carolina did, but they came back and won the game. Is that something where they clear a hurdle, I guess, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, no, it might be. South Carolina's defense is awful, though. And so, I'd like to think we're a little bit better on defense, a little bit more talented. How about that?
In certain places.
Oh, we're terrible at linebacker. It's fair to point that out routinely, but you have one good linebacker who cares to play right now and play hard, and then you're good up front, and, if you care to be involved in the run game, you're going to be all right.
Jesus. Dontavius, can you do it back-to-back weeks? Can you be that emotional leader who makes some plays here and there?
I need it. We got to have it right. It's one game. It's your last game. I don't care how tired you are. It's one game. Take some drugs. Let's go. It's one game, Tom. Legal drugs, of course.
Think about this, though. Derwin James is a first-round pick, but was he the emotional leader that Jalen Ramsey was, that Telvin Smith was, that Timmy Jurgen? No. again, it's 5-16, but it looks like Dontavius is trying to be that person. And if he does it again this week, then he most certainly is your emotional leader heading into a bowl game. Unbelievable. And then heading into the 2019 season.
Make sure you get a good night's sleep before this game and do so on a MyPillow. Go to MyPillow.com. It stays cool all night long. No more waking up 3 a.m., flipping that sucker to the cool side. They're always cool. I slept on mine last night. It keeps its shape. You don't have to reshape that bad boy in the middle of the night. Nope. Made here in the United States of America, damn it. It comes with 60-day money-back guarantee, but it's all the way extended now into March.
Well, and you can take that sucker with you if you're sleeping on the road for Thanksgiving.
Buy one, get one free special. Use my promo code 979ESPN. Go to MyPillow.com. That's MyPillow.com. Use the promo code 979ESPN. Come back, wrap up the hour momentarily. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Some of the headlines forthcoming. And is that right? We got one hockey game tonight? One. Edmonton at San Jose. What are we doing?
Huh.
Come on,
one hockey
NHL,
game.
get it together. Jeez.
2 for 2 with the Senators, sir.
Big Daddy is feeling it. 2 for 2, both victories. We're plus in the Big Daddy Red Russian excursion, Ottawa tomorrow. What does Ottawa got tomorrow? Do you know? We're going with the over if you're wondering. It's over 5 straight games. We're sticking with it.
I do not.
Ottawa, I got it here. I'll find it. Sorry about that. I skipped over. They got Minnesota tomorrow.
You got who?
Minnesota tomorrow. Minnesota.
Basketball.
Ottawa at Minnesota, 8 p.m. Feel good about that, Tom? Feel good about the over on that?
No, but that means it's going to hit.
It's going to hit. Because that's what they do. They hit in the second period last night.
What's that? I mean, maybe the number is at 5.5 because Vegas doesn't feel it either. They're saying, we're due for a close one here, a little low-scoring affair.
I'll have to look, but let me just tell you. So they lost to the Panthers 7-5. All right, way over. In the second period, you were drinking Red Russians. I had you drinking Red Russians early the night before against Pittsburgh. They won that game 6-4.
Yeah, 6-4, yeah.
A little 10 goal for that ass. Now, that's 2 for 2.
It is completely against their philosophy. They're in trouble if these are the games that they're playing, but we're not in trouble.
Well, they beat the Lightning 6-4. You remember that game was a 10-goal game.
Yeah.
You go back through, Tom, I'm telling you, all but one game. There was one 2-1 clunker, and it was 5-1, 6-4, 5-3, 7-3, 4-3 in the previous 5 games. They're all over all the time. They are now 15-4-1 to the over. Big Daddy's found something.
That's almost as good as the Bama first half numbers, which, of course, came to a screeching halt this week.
But I won for 10 straight weeks doing it.
Yeah. You didn't play it this week, did you?
I didn't play it this week.
Yeah.
I knew it was, well, stupid Saban, his crybaby ass. I wasn't going to even bother.
I wonder if he's calling the plays for them to fail just so he can make a point.
He's ridiculous. Drives me nuts. All right, I feel good about it, man. I have felt good. Now, maybe Friday. I don't have to give my prediction tonight. It's Tuesday. So I'm not doing it. It feels like a Friday, but I'm not giving away predictions just yet. But I'm telling you, I did this to you last week. Last week I said, I feel pretty good about the game Saturday. That was on a Monday.
Right, but you were being honest, and we asked you to be honest this week. So through Tuesday.
Feel good.
Okay.
Feel good. I'm telling you, man, the way that thing culminated, all week long, I really felt good that they were going to go to war, that they were going to come out and fight. And listen, they may not be good enough. I said that too. They got
close,
They got so many problems with the offensive line. But they're blocking better. Cam looked a little bit more like Cam. Breaking tackles, running hard, keeping balance. You know what I'm talking about. And, they got enough skill, man. 1 week it's Helton. Next week it's Harrison. Next time it's Tamori and Terry constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Could be McKitty, who needs to catch the ball a little bit more consistently. But, by the way, it's hard to catch a football with one hand when the other one's being held down around your side and it's not called again. I hate it with the refs, but apparently in the middle of the field, we are fair game. You just do whatever the hell you want. I was mad at McKitty. He's got a touchdown. He's a walk-in touchdown.
Yes, he is.
However, man, when you go back and watch that replay, the reason he drops it is he's having to one-handed because the linebacker is holding his arm on his right side. What are we doing?
Got to learn to shove off in that moment.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to have to start Kelvin Benjamin people.
Woo.
Just throw that against this team.
Yes.
That's when he told him.
Well, he also did one to Miami, too, but that was just for the fun of it in the end zone. He wasn't running around at all.
That was just running a dude
He's
straight
like, hey, man, get ready for that ball to snap. Why?
Here's why. It was evil.
We'll also get probably a nice post-game rush on Friday at the corner pocket. The Seminole soccer team, 2 p.m. kick against Penn State on Friday.
They made me nervous against USC. I think they're going to boat race Penn State.
Oh.
Boat race Penn State. It's going to be a long offseason. Penn State having to think about that 4-0 loss to the Lady Noles. That's what's going to happen there. You can melt away your stubborn belly fat, Tom, with Andro 400. That's what you do. You get you some Andro 400. Just use the J6OFF code, and you're all good. Go to andro400.com. Use the coupon code J6OFF, that's the number 6, J6OFF, for a discount on your order. Improves your mood, increases muscle mass, improves libido, 90-day money-back guarantee. It's affordable, no questions asked, satisfaction guaranteed. Andro400.com. All right, so Seminole Headlines is forthcoming. 2 hours of goodness there. We're off tomorrow and, of course, on Thanksgiving. But we're back with you live Friday from the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
There will be Front Row Knowles tomorrow. So there you go. Nice. The guys recorded a brand new one. They were actually the play-by-play and analysis team last night for the basketball game, Tom and Keith.
Well done, boys.
So they stayed there courtside and decided, all right, let's do the thing here. And that was so that'll be fresh content for you tomorrow. But then it's a triple header for the NFL on Thursday. We're right back here on Friday.
What is after headlines tonight?
After headlines tonight, we may have some college basketball. Right. Unconfirmed, but we may have some.
Gotta get that done. Well done to you, sir. Well done, Matthew. Happy Thanksgiving to both of you. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
We will talk to you on Friday live from the CP. Be well.